This is a very important question if we consider maybe having children. Can my child grow up without losing itself in becoming a separate self? Does my child need to go through the cycle of suffering of a separate self to experience to be human? Do we need an ego to let go of the ego, we could say? It certainly looks like it, doesn't it? For now. In a way, it's a good follow-up, or actually, Lou, what we just spoke about. There is this word in Sanskrit called ahamkara, which is often translated in the West into ego. The sense of I, or I am. I'm not sure if it was meant in the scriptures as ego. There is no such a real thing as ego in the Eastern scriptures usually. So we kind of put our idea of an ego, of a psychological separate self, on this ahamkara, on this sense of I am. I actually, my intuition is that it just points to this point of view, this I am, this pure I am. It's not ego to have a healthy sense of I. Everyone who lets go of the separate self discovers usually a very if it's truly integrated, if it's an embodied understanding of the true I, of universal consciousness, surprising things happen usually. Like, for example, boundaries that might have been a problem to the conditioned separate self, not knowing where to set boundaries and where to say yes and no, becomes a very natural function of universal consciousness for this avatar. It's magic. Somehow, often universal consciousness expressing itself through that individual is often more grounded, more settled in the dream, knowing that it's just a character in the dream, and therefore truly understanding its role in the dream, having a very healthy relation to others, so-called others in the dream, knowing very well, usually when it's well integrated, when it's embodied understanding, knowing how to navigate the dream as an avatar is a expression of true understanding. And that does not require an ego, a separate me. It just requires a clear point of view. The point of view hijacked by the ego is thinking I have to protect myself, I have to make sure that I'm safe and secure as a separate me. And in a way, that is what is happening, I would say, in our culture, in our society. We are living in a time of the dream where it seems unavoidable for growing child, because the world is so full of ignorance, so to speak, so full of separation, so full of apparent people that don't know themselves and don't know that they're just a point of view. So everyone is in this game of protecting, of securing myself, of bringing safety to myself, to my body from this egoic perspective. This need to protect myself, to find safety and security as a separate self, to be able to function in the world is so common. It's like the default state of our society that it seems and it looks like at the moment that every child that grows up, that's kind of my intuition. This is not, of course, absolute truth. That it seems that it's absolutely necessary to become an ego in the sense I need to be a healthy, separate me, to be not crushed by this cruel world. Because in a way, it is a cruel world, because as the vast majority of people living from this ignorant, illusory separate selfness in protection, if we as a child don't play the game with them, it's just too harsh. It's just too harsh to stay open as a child. So we adapt. And of course, usually we have parents and teachers in school and friends and society who engage us and require from us to become a separate me. But as we can function very well in the world from the point of view, from the true I am, universal consciousness, loving awareness, why would we need to go through this cycle of a separate me, of an ego, to overcome it? It doesn't resonate, it doesn't ring the bell in my heart fully. I can see the necessity based on our time of the dream, on our society, that it looks like it's necessary and it feels like it's necessary, and therefore it is necessary in a way. to not get crushed by the world. But I can very well see a different society, and I hope that's where we're heading to. I can very well feel and see in my heart a different version of the dream, where healthy point of views are living together, enlightened beings living as enlightened beings together, not from separation, but from a healthy point of view, knowing that they are one shared being. And in such a society, I would say it's not necessary to become a separate me for the child.